Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm Ross Benjamin. As always, the gentleman on top of me and your viewer, or to the left of me, I don't know, whatever way, the other gentleman, his name is Chip Chirimbus, and he's one hell of a handicapper. Let me tell you that, folks, and
Well,
has been for many decades. Chipper, you're in your
yeah.
new digs. How are you, buddy?
Well, I'm finally settled in, and I've been traveling the whole week, and I just don't seem to be in tune when I'm out of my element. And right now, I feel very comfortable. I'm locked into where I am, and looking forward to a big Saturday.
There you go. So clear the mind, focus in, and that's what it's all about in our industry. We talked about this yesterday. You need to be focused. And if
Yep,
you're not, we both know that affects our handicap. And that's not an excuse, folks. It's just a proven fact.
it's
Anyway,
just the way it is.
um, we're going to, today is Friday, the 19th of February, and we're going to give out a free pick in college basketball on the large card tomorrow in college basketball. It's not as big as I'm used to the last 2 weeks, Chip. It seems anyway. There seems to be a lot more Friday games this year than
Yeah.
last year, and it's taken off the Saturday board. So in any event, there's quite a bit to choose from, and we're going to give out a free pick in college basketball on Saturday from each one of us. But before we get to that, Chipper, um, is there something that you look for at this time of year in conference play? We're getting late into the regular season. We got a uh, big sample size of games for every team. And as we both know, some of these major conference teams pad their records early on. They weren't able
Yep.
to do so as much this year because of COVID and the restrictions. So, is there something you look for at this time of year specifically, Chip?
But Ross, I think in conference play that once these teams have already met once, the second time around, people are always looking for revenge to take the team that got beat the first time. But I don't know if that's always the way to go. The way to look at this game is to interpret the line and see what the number is on this game. And so I like it a lot better because we've got a track record to look at, and we have a resume of these teams. And so the conference play usually teams have their rivals and they play tougher. And we were talking about some teams earlier today, and how they're so poorly on the road and so much better at home. And you'll be explaining that a little bit later, I'm sure.
Yes,
So
I will.
yes,
Anyway, here's what I look for, Chip, and sometimes it's trying to find a needle in the haystack. I start out with looking for a home underdog on a Saturday card. Typically, the
yeah,
Saturday cards in past years are huge. And so I'm of the adage that you can find home underdog value a lot easier on a Saturday than you could the rest of the week.
sure.
Now, having
Yeah,
said that, optimally, what I'm looking for is a home underdog with a strong home court as well. And what I
yeah,
mean by that is I go back 3 seasons, approximately 45 home games, and any team that's won 36 or more of their last 45 at home, I consider to have a strong home court. And that's over 80%, 80% and above, Chip. And
yeah. Well, I
then I'm
would say
looking
so.
for a defensive dandy, a team that holds opponents to less than 40% shooting on the season. Right now, if you check the college basketball statistics, there's only 27 teams that fit under that category of holding opponents to less than 40% shooting. So if you could combine all three of those and you find something like that, to me, that's not only an indicator, it almost qualifies as a no brainer for me. But it's been more difficult to locate this year. Not as many teams holding teams under 40%. And also, as I alluded to before, Chipper, the Saturday cards aren't as massive or among us as they've been in years past. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Now, before we get to our free picks, Chipper, where could they find you? How are you doing lately?
Well, I had a rough week in the NBA. There's no question about that. And but the last 2 days, actually, I've had best bet winners. I went 1-0 and then 2-1. So starting to get my momentum back here. I'm really happy about that. But tomorrow, which is Saturday, I'll have three NBA games And the Fab Five, which I've gone 4-1 the last 3 Saturdays, I post 5 college basketball winners. Hope there'd be winners on Saturday. And you can reach and you can get any of my games at chipwins.com. And you can also, Ross, like you had mentioned, my number will be there. If you're looking for a personal service, you can give me a call. But go to the website because it's clean, it's easy, and it's the most affordable website out there for top rated games. And I'm sitting there, I'm loving it. The chipwins.com has been doing great. And you'll get either a 3-pack or the Fab Five in college basketball and NBA action.
I know you always profess to me that winning on Saturday is imperative in college basketball. And a lot of that has to
Yeah.
do with the size of the cards, right, Chip? Because you're able to find more value. I know you hate that word, but find more plays
Yeah.
that are within your specs when you come out with a game.
Yeah, and well, the word value, why I was saying that when people
Yes.
think that they're getting a bargain from
I
the
I'm
bookmakers.
just joshing with you.
Yeah, well, and we had talked about that, about how, they're not looking to give you anything for free. So when
No.
you think you're getting value, sometimes, it's just not there. It's sort of like an inducement. Come get me, come get
Yes.
me. And that's why when you and I laugh about that sometimes, behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, you have to know the definition of what value is.
Yeah.
And thinking that a play is obvious to me, Chipper, like you just said, they're not that gracious, sports
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
So, okay, you could find me at rbwins.com, by the way, folks. I am 10-5 my last 15 and 7-3 with my last 10 in the NBA. As a matter of fact, we're recording on Friday. If you catch us early enough, I have 3 NBA picks up right now, all in the same package. You could get those at rbwins.com. Also, I offer weekly, monthly, and annual packages. So rbwins.com for me, chipwins.com for Mr. Chip Chirimbus. And now we get to our free play. And Chipper, lead us off with a winner.
Well, I'd love to. And these two teams that I'm going to talk about here have been clashing. I mean, Virginia wins a national championship last year. Am I correct about that? And they're 15-4.
Nobody won a national championship last year.
Well, in my mind, they won. Was it the year before?
The year before. No, there was no tournament last year.
So they're still the defending national champs.
There you go. Now,
but they're 15-4 in the year, 5-2 on the road against the straight up 4-2-1 at the number. But Ross, they're coming off a 21-point beatdown. Florida State just annihilating 81-60. And I'm wondering sometimes when this happens, their confidence gets a little shaken. The Cavaliers have gone 31-14 in their last 45 games on the road. And this game is a virtual pick 'em. I think they're a small overnight line. I saw 1.5 and 1 point favorite over Duke. Duke having a horrible season, 9-8 on the year. But Ross, they're starting to play some good basketball now.
Yes,
They've won
they
the
are.
last 2, and they're 6-4 at home, though they only covered 2 of their 10 home games. 5-12 against the number on the season. Krzyzewski almost closed down the entire season with Duke. But the Blue Devils, they're more like dirt right now. But I think that they're in a position here where they're starting to play a little better, and I think the Cavaliers' confidence may be shaken. And Duke, like I said, is now playing with a little bit more confidence. The dog in this series, and I hope that Duke remains the underdog in this one, is 22-8 with 1 push in the last 31 games. And on the road, Virginia has gone 4-9-2 against teams with winning records. So, as good as they are and as good as they played, we talk about different situations, and this may be one where I think Virginia gets caught. I wouldn't be surprised for them to lose 2 in a row. And I think Krzyzewski is really going to have his guys ready. They haven't quit on the season. We saw that. They've won their last 2. So though they are 5-12 against the number, I'm going to take the home team because of the rivalry between these two teams, 22-8 to the underdog in this series.
Yeah, well, again, we have a unranked team in a virtual even game. They're getting 1.5 or so against the number 7 team in the country. So what that means to me is if the game was in Charlottesville, Virginia would just be a 4.5-point favorite, home favorite by my calculations. And if that was the case, we'd even more, our hair would rise, our
Yeah.
antennas would go up because
Yeah.
you'd say, why are they only a 4.5 point home favorite against an unranked team? They're number 7. So it makes a lot of sense to me, Chip. I'm going to go in a different direction here. I'm going to go to the Big Ten. Illinois, the number 5 team in the country. And you know, I like this Illinois team a lot.
Yeah,
I've mentioned it
we
to you
both
on a
do.
couple
Yeah.
occasions. They're traveling to Bloomington, Minnesota to take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Is it Bloomington they're in? Anyway, at Minnesota.
Are they the Golden Gophers or are they the Minnesota Jekyll and Hydes?
It's the Jekyll and Hydes is correct. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Here's the bad news first. Minnesota is 0-8 straight up and 1-7 against the spread in true road games. Matter of fact, I believe on last week's show, I faded the Gophers on the road, won easily.
Right.
This week, I'm going to side with the Gophers. And you say, why? Well, let me tell you why. And let me tell you why Chip said they're a Jekyll and Hyde type team. That was a segue. Minnesota at home, 13-1 straight up, 10-4 against the number, Chip. And that includes wins over number 3, Michigan, number 4, Ohio State, and number 11, Iowa. And they also beat a pretty good Purdue team at home as well. So Minnesota, 5.5 point dog. Wouldn't be shocked if they pull the outright upset. I certainly won't get greedy. I'll take the Golden Gophers of Minnesota plus 5.5 as a home underdog over the Illinois Illini on Saturday. That game tips off at 3:30. Chips Duke play. That tips off at 8 p.m. So repeating again, folks, Chip Chirimbus is on Duke plus 1.5 at home against Virginia, 8 p.m. Eastern time start. And Ross Benjamin, myself, I am on the Minnesota Golden Gophers plus 5.5 at home against the number 5 Illinois Illini. So, Chip, anything more before I leave you?
No, just that I think Saturday is such a big day for us, and we've had such great luck, shall we say? Because sometimes you have to be lucky to win.
Yeah.
And if you take just our Saturday records, we're really killing it. We have such a plethora of games to choose from, and I think in our industry, in our business, the way we look at things and the way we analyze it, we can find the winners out there. And I'm looking to have a big day tomorrow and on Saturday, that is. And like I said, 4-1 the last 3 Saturdays. I want to bust through and go 5-0 at least one time.
There you
But
go.
I think that Saturday's a big day for us in college basketball.
I'll have 3 to 5 plays tomorrow. Again, you can find my plays at rbwins.com, Chip's plays at chipwins.com. Folks, if you're watching, you haven't subscribed already to our YouTube channel, please take a second to do so. It costs you absolutely nothing for the best sports betting advice you're going to get anywhere on the internet. And give us a like at the end of the video. Till the next time, I'm Ross Benjamin and for Chip Chirimbus. Good luck and God bless.
Thank you, Russ.